What's going on, guys? Jake Peffer here with Jake's Cinema Room. I am back with another movie review for you. Today I'm going to be looking at the latest Netflix original comedy, Me Time, which stars Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg. This is definitely not one of the better movies to come out in quite some time. It seems like Kevin Hart's struck a deal with Netflix, and he's been producing at least what seems like at least a couple of movies a year are coming out from him on Netflix, and they all just kind of keep becoming like the same thing over and over is what it really feels like. The one he came out with last year, Fatherhood, I thought was pretty decent, but realistically everything else that he's released straight to Netflix hasn't really been all that great. And Me Time is bad. Like it's really bad. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it's not flat out horrible all the way through. I did get a few chuckles here and there. And I actually do like the chemistry between Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg and their characters together. They do seem like they have a little bit going on there. But overall, Me Time is it's such a lazy movie. And I don't get it. It's like Netflix takes all this money and they throw it into these comedies or sitcoms. It seems like that's been a trend too. They've been trying to bring back sitcoms, but they're throwing all this money into these movies and they're just hiring people to write the laziest scripts and put together these movies within like what feels like almost a couple of weeks. They're putting these movies together and then they're shooting it within a month or two and they're basically done. And there's just not really much to enjoy or go off of to get your entertainment from these. And I don't get it. Now, I don't understand where the thought process is there, because it's not just Kevin Hart. Adam Sandler signed that deal with Netflix a while back, and he's churned out quite a few comedies on Netflix as well, pretty much all of which have been more or less terrible. He's had a few decent ones come through, and then like the movie Hustle, which wasn't really a comedy, it was more of a drama, it was actually very good. So he's had a few that kind of slipped through the cracks and were overall pretty solid. But Kevin Hart, I like the guy. He's a great comedian. I do think he's funny. I've enjoyed his stand-up in the past, and even some of his movies here and there I've enjoyed. But he seems to be a guy that definitely works better as a side character or supporting character. Just look at those, most recent Jumanji movies. He's great in both of those. And those movies work because it takes 4 actors who all are playing against type, because you have him, The Rock, Jack Black, and Karen Gillan, and they're all playing characters that they don't normally play. And it all works very well. Whereas with Me Time and pretty much every movie that Kevin Hart's put on Netflix, he's just playing Kevin Hart. And not that there's anything wrong with Kevin Hart. He's a funny guy. He just has yet to be given the right movie for him to be a leading man in. And I think that's his biggest issue. He doesn't need to be a leading man. He needs to have a supporting role in anything he puts his name on. And I think it might work out a little bit better in the long run. This movie really doesn't have much of a plot, honestly. It's, he's a hardworking dad. He's got 2 kids. He's married to Regina King, who's wasted in this movie. But basically, he does all the day-to-day stuff. He's on the PTA board. He does a lot at the school with the kids. And he essentially does more than Regina King does, while she's kind of got the bigger, higher paying job, and she's doing that, and it's taking up most of her time. So Kevin Hart handles the kids and the day-to-day stuff. Well, he gets the opportunity to have some me time, quote unquote, like the title of the movie. And he basically can't figure out anything to do for himself. He tries to do a few things here and there, and he's so used to what he's been doing day to day with his kids that he can't really enjoy himself until he finally decides to go celebrate the birthday of his best friend, who's played by Mark Wahlberg. He had been avoiding him for quite some time, but he finally decides, hey, I'm going to get with him. We're going to go have the time of our lives like we used to, because Mark Wahlberg's character, whose name is Huck, which is ridiculous. But anyway, he always has these elaborate birthday parties, and they do these outrageous and crazy things every time they go to one of his parties. So that's kind of why Kevin Hart's character, Sonny, didn't really want to do this because, you know, he's getting older and he doesn't know if he can still handle these childish and crazy things that Mark Wahlberg's character always likes to do. And yeah, that's basically the movie. You know, he goes out with him. They get into some shenanigans. You know, there's some conflict in the middle of the movie, and then it all gets resolved by the end. You know, no spoilers, but it's pretty easy to see where this movie's going to go. And it sucks. Like I said, you know, I like Kevin Hart. Mark Wahlberg is a guy that can be hit or miss, just like Kevin Hart. But, you know, when he's good, he's good. And unfortunately, it seems like most of his comedies don't really hit all that well. You know, here and there, like with The Other Guys or Pain and Gain, which is more of like an action comedy. I think a lot of those movies work well for Mark Wahlberg. But when he tries to do just like a straight out comedy, doesn't usually work out all that well. And not to say so much that it's him per se, you know, could be the script, could be the director, but in this movie's particular case, I think it's just everything all combined. You know, it's a lazy script. The director, who is the director of one of my favorite comedies from the last 10, 15 years, I Love You Man, with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, which I think is hilarious. This time around, you know, can't really hit that same spark of magic that you get with those two guys. Maybe it's because those two guys are friends in real life, where I don't know if Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg really are in real life. You know, it's hard to say, but you know, it's just it's a shame because, you know, like I said, if it wasn't so lazy and just like sloppily put together, this could have been an all right movie and something, you know, that was fairly enjoyable. But in the end, it's unfunny. It's almost annoying at times. It's Kevin Hart being a little too Kevin Hart, and actually same with Mark Wahlberg. He's kind of overdoing his normal shtick, and it just gets tiresome. Like I said, you know, it wastes Regina King. There's not a whole lot of other people you're going to really recognize in this movie. You know, you might recognize this guy from TV or this guy from another movie here and there. I do love the cameo of Seal. Anytime a movie throws Seal in a movie, I get a little excited because that guy actually is pretty funny. And here it's no different. We get a little scene with him and Kevin Hart singing, and that scene actually works out pretty okay. But all in all, this is just not a very enjoyable movie. If you're looking to get away for, you know, an hour, 45 minutes and get some much needed entertainment and get some laughs, unfortunately, you're not going to get very many of them out of me time. Overall, I would probably rate this movie about a 3.5 out of 10. Just not worth your time, you know. Unless you're a really big Kevin Hart fan or a really big Mark Wahlberg fan, I would just say skip this one. Yeah, but that's about it for me, guys. If you have seen Me Time, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more movie reviews in the near future. I'll leave all my links to my blog and other websites down below. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.